Hello, this is Arash Vossoughi. Today, I want to get into leadership. Now, are you a leader or are you a victim? You know, something my dear mentor and I used to always talk about is leaders. And I remember when I was first getting started with Bob, I'd say, what are some of the greatest qualities of a great leader? And it always started, number one, is lead by example. You want to create the results and lead by doing the thing. Like Emerson says, do the thing will give you power. So you want to lead the way and show your team by example of what you want them to do. Now, your performance always reflects your identity. Now, leadership is an identity. And you want to look at your story and ask yourself, is that based on the past, or am I leading like the person I want to become? Would I want to be led by me? See, we want to ask ourselves this. When I say there's two people, there's leaders or victims. Leaders, first of all, are great followers before they become great leaders. I remember I was a great number 4 before I became a great number 2. And then I became a great number 2 before I became a great number 1. And I was always studying great leaders. Leadership is a mindset. It's an attitude, just like everything is. And what we want to do is we want to speak in a certain way to our team, so we're encouraging them. I can give you the best tool that you could develop right now, wherever you are right now, you can develop it, is you hold the image of where your team can be, what their potential is, not where their programming is, not where they presently are, but you're holding the image of where they are. So whenever I'm working with a client, whether I'm coaching them, I always hold the image of where they want to be. And I always hold that firmly in my imagination. And with people in my company, I'm always holding the image of what's possible. And you want to get to know your team very well. Ask them a lot of questions. This isn't about dictatorship, this is leadership. You lead with enthusiasm, but you want to get to know your team. I want to know what people on my team really want. Like, what are their goals? And I spend all my energy focused on how I can help them get their goals. See, that's leading. When you're focusing on yourself, that's not the game. Leadership is about we, not about me. It's about being others focused. And you'll know whether you spend most of your time helping others or if you're focused on yourself. You know, when I'm leading, I'm really focusing on the people I'm leading. And I really want them to get in the spirit of the projects we're working on. I want them to get so emotionally involved. Now, let's go over some of the qualities great leaders have. First of all, they always operate with a magnificent obsession of their future. They always have a vision of their future, that they're showing their team what they want them to grow into that's possible, and their team will write their own ticket by the level of their growth. They are very disciplined. They are constantly willing to fail. That's a big one. You know, I was at an event a few weeks ago that I was hosting, our World Class Wealth event, and I had one of the prospects tell me, I discovered after this lesson that I'm a great leader, but I'm not willing to fail. I said, then you're not leading. See, leaders are always willing to fail. And leaders are never in their comfort zone. If they're in their comfort zone, they're not leading, I promise you. Leaders are not busy, they're productive. Victims are busy, they say, I'm busy, they're task-oriented. Leaders are productive activity after productive activity after productive activity. Victims attach to suffering. They're fearful. A leader is fearless. You can't lead with a fearful heart. And you want to have a servant heart. A leader lets their team know they're world class about everything they do. They lead with a standard and they live that standard. See, your followers are always watching you, whether you know it or not. They're watching what you're doing. They're watching how you're holding yourself. They're watching how you overcome adversity. See, I never want to show my team when I'm having a bad day. I want it to be neutral. I want it to be, even when I create the best results, I show up the same way. See, leaders have a phenomenal attitude all the time. Now, right now, you could be the most positive influence in your life. You could be the most positive person you know, and people are going to really want to run after you. But the biggest thing for leaders, it's developing more leaders. You want to grow people and have a flock of people following you because they've become leaders themselves. I always say the greatest leaders have developed leader after leader after leader, and they're great visionaries. They're tremendous. Now, I think our duty is to be an A+ performer, to operate with a very significant standard, and to lead and inspire others. See, when you hear the word inspiration, that's in spirit. It's going inside and bringing it out. I watch people all the time come to me and they say, Arash, will you help me? I say, of course. I said, but you have to be a great follower. You have to do the work, do exactly what I tell you first. And then you're going to become a great leader because it's contagious. You want them to grow into leadership. See, I think at Voss Coaching Co., we haven't even found our biggest superstar yet. I know there's somebody out there that's dying to come work with us that is going to be a great leader. And I always come from that every day is day one. See, we want today to be our masterpiece. This is what leadership is about. Now, are you leading? Are you following? Great followers become great leaders. Are you taking extreme responsibility? Another great characteristic of leadership. Are you getting your team in the spirit of the projects and ideas? Another great example of great leadership. Leaders are very productive. Leaders are doing their 30, 60, 90-minute sprints throughout the day. They work productive hours, and they do a lot of jolts. They do a lot of bursts. They're real sprinters, and they're building their mental muscle because they're constantly studying themselves. They're constantly building toughness. You know, right now, I will tell you, leadership will write your ticket to wherever you want to go. I encourage you to open your heart, get in your beingness. See, we don't get what we want, we get what we are. What I am speaks so much louder than what I say that I am. And that's why I always tell clients, I don't listen to what you're telling me, I listen to how you're telling me it. And I'm watching what you're doing. Another great attribute of a great leader, they're great decision makers. Within a second, they trust themselves. Do you trust yourself? Build your intuition. Trust yourself with small things. See, we always know the truth because the truth resonates with the essence of who we are. Great leaders are seeing things 4 steps ahead. They're seeing the problem right now, but they're seeing the solution. They're only focused on the solution. The difference between victims and leaders, another difference is they love problems because they know that's a new opportunity for them to make a breakthrough. They set short-term daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, quarterly goals, half-yearly goals, and obviously yearly goals. And they're very relentless to their pursuit of greatness. I want to say that again. They have an enormous love for challenges. They have this enormous spirit of really being willing to pursue their greatness. That's what great leaders do. Now, you want to ask yourself, what is my attitude towards leadership? Am I leading because of a title, or am I leading because I get to lead my family every day? I get to lead myself. Lead yourself every day. You know, some of my favorite books on leadership, Extreme Ownership is a great book on leadership. Leading Without a Title is another great book on leadership. I think all of Napoleon Hill's books are great on leadership, especially The Laws of Success. You know, and one key attribute of great leaders, they never give their power to the outside. I want you to watch this over and over again, and it doesn't matter where you are. I started picking my mentor's brain when I was first starting out and I was struggling, because there was a big part of me that knew I had to develop into a leader. And every leader was a big victim at one point that they outgrew. And you want to understand right where you are in this nothingness of where this present moment is, we get to create it how we want. Go set a significant standard. Create a world-class life. Create world-class goals. Find world-class mentors, and do exactly what they tell you to do. Come work with me. I'll tell you this right now. I love showing people what I learned and really blazing that path. And I'll show you, come work and I will develop you into a great leader. But really work on this. See, when you work on an idea long enough and hold that idea with your will, it has to come into form. Most people give up on their ideas. Why? Because they're victims. See, what did I say? Victims make excuses. Leaders are only about results. Watch this over and over again. Leadership is in you. Bring it out of yourself and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.